and having a little bit of technical difficulty. Hi guys, Super Secret Tech here. I'm going to go over a mechanics and card review for Heroes versus Monsters. The first card that we're going to look at is Ankle Mead. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. My Greek mythology pronunciation isn't the best. It's one, a red and a white. It's a legendary creature. It's a human soldier. It has First Strike and Vigilance, and it has Heroic, which is a new mechanic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets it, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample until end of turn, and it's a 3/2. Notice on Heroic that it doesn't require you to resolve the spell, that it just targets. So that means no matter if the spell is countered or if the creature dies, the effect still triggers. Um, which means that it's pumping your whole team regardless, um, which could lead to a more combo-y standard deck if you have a couple of good heroic spells that can pump up your team and kill them no matter what. Uh, Especially if there's something that like burns your creature for one and then it burns the opponent or something like that. Like it could turn really, really aggressive. Um, but it's a really neat mechanic, and it does feel very, very heroic. You're inspiring the people to do better. Um, Carano's World Eater is our next card. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing this correct. It's 2 and 2 green. It's a 5/5. It has Monstrosity X. Uh, and it's XX green to activate. Um, if this creature isn't monstrous, put X 1/1 counters on it, and it becomes monstrous. When he becomes monstrous, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures your opponents control. Each of those creatures deals damage to its power to Carano's. Uh, the big mechanical factor here is that the counters stack first and then damage is dealt. So he's going to get bigger before damage is ever assigned to it. The other thing that's really interesting about the way they made this mechanic is that it's instant speed, which means that you're going to be able to do a lot of incremental advantages using combat. Like if they left a 1/1 to block, you can monstrous it and target the 1/1, putting however many counters you want on it because it's only going to deal one back in attack in. And you can do that before blockers are declared in the declare attacker step or the beginning of combat step or even their main phase. It also makes this guy really, really good uh, as a blocker because as a blocker, he can block, one creature and then, blow up other creatures, make himself bigger, and still block that one creature. I see him trading up a lot, and I can see him definitely making an impact in Standard and Modern, maybe even Legacy. Calvary Pegasus. This card is a one and a white. It's a flying Pegasus, which is it's good to have another Pegasus in the group. It's a 1/1. Whenever it attacks, each attacking human gains flying until end of turn. Two things. This alludes to a human sub-theme, and it also alludes to making attacking important. We saw a little bit of that in M14. Apparently, that's going to be a very Theros strongly themed uh, mechanic. Also, it shows that, with a human sub-theme, evasion for all your humans can be really strong. It can definitely win you games. Next card is Destructive Revelry. Uh, it's a red and a green. It's an instant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, and it deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller. Um, so it's basically the upgrade of Naturalize. It costs 1 red instead of 1 colorless, but it deals 2 damage. It'll probably definitely see some constructed playability, and it also alludes to that we're going to have a lot of artifacts and enchantments since they're creating removal for them with damage. A very aggressively casted card. Ordeal of Fibrosis, I guess. Perforos? Perofos? Again, I'm sorry, I'm horrible with some of these pronunciations. It's 1 in a red, it's an enchant creature, and when your enchanted creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Then if it has 3 or more +1/+1 counters on it, sacrifice it. If you sacrifice it, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. Um, Counters get to stay on the creature. The other side note that's important is that when you're dealing damage, it only occurs when it's sacrificed, not removed. So if they play Naturalize on this guy, you just get the one counter. Uh, it's going to be a limited bomb. Like, this is going to be very, very high pick and limited, and it'll possibly see constructed playability depending on how aggressive the format is. Sandhedonist. Again, I think that's right. I'm not completely sure. I'm sorry about my pronunciation, guys. Um, it's a red. Sacrifice it. Add 3 red to your mana pool. It's a 2/1, so it's a pretty a decent card by itself, and then the ability really pushes it a little bit further. Um, it adds more fast mana to standard and modern, and it adds the possibility of maybe a green and red combo deck uh, that goes off turn 3 in modern. Because you can play, you know, turn 1, whatever, Elvish Mystic. Turn 2, you can play Burning Tree Emissary into this guy in standard. Turn 3, you have 5 mana. So that's going to make red and green uh, pretty advanced on fast mana. It also, with modern, you know, you can play this guy turn 2, and turn 3 just start storming off. It just, because you're basically getting 2 free mana turn 3 with sacrificing this guy to add to your storm count. Um, and with the removal of cards like Ride and Flame, that should help with the Storm deck's aggressiveness and be able to win a little bit faster than the other combo decks in the format. Um, I hope you enjoyed the look at the mechanics, and good luck using this awesome new product. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll have more